From 2015, every year, we would have an annual retreat where we will ask this question, hey, what can kill Freshworks? We got the answer that competition is not going to kill us. AI is presenting a massive disruption opportunity to rebuild. And just like we saw in the previous monster waves, I call it, the browser being born or the smartphone being born, I think AI is going to create new leaders in every category.
The companies are scaling in revenue much faster. We have companies touching 100 million in 12 months in the US, right? Companies are starting with a smaller number of team members right now. Team from 3 to 5 people can actually create a very large companies, and there's a discussion that maybe there's a unicorn with a single person also going forward, right? There are newer industries that are getting disrupted. The use cases which were never possible before with the software are getting addressed now.
There's a huge debate about the breakneck speed that AI startups are growing at, right? So what's your take in this experimental revenue run rate versus the actual ARR?
We are living in a world where there is a huge AI experiment running in every enterprise. So all enterprises globally have shifted some of their IT budgets to encouraging teams to actually try AI solution to solve their problems better. And I think that's a good thing, which means you are getting more trials, and that's what every startup wants.
How many horizontal, vertical AI companies or dev tools, application layer companies are you seeing?
So I think from an India standpoint, we think our biggest strength is going to be in enterprise application space and on the dev tool side. Historically, horizontals used to be preferred as they are bigger markets than verticals. But now with AI, we are going to see more winners in verticals. We are going after the salary TAM. Like when you're automating the work that humans do, it's possible to build a much larger company by focusing on one vertical.
What would it take for Indian founders and India as a country to develop its AI ecosystem?
Can we grow faster than that we grew in a SaaS wave? In SaaS, just to give you context, India only has 1% market share of the global SaaS market. So in AI, if India can get to 10% market share, I think we'll be in a very good shape.
We have seen flavor of this question every 10 years, right? Like, hey, when will India produce a Microsoft? When will India produce a Google? When will India produce an OpenAI, right? What we have to understand is, what is the journey to creating really successful global product brands? And that's why we call it the dream of India as a product nation. We've had great success as an IT services nation. So if you look at SaaS, we have companies like Zoho or Freshworks or Chargebee, BrowserStack. But how many product companies of, let's say, 100 million plus revenue companies do we have? So with AI, now it's a restart.
Welcome to UpClose, your unique window into the next wave of innovation and opportunity. This is part of our Road to Tech Spark series, where we spotlight the movers and shakers of India's startup and tech ecosystem to talk innovation, operations, and the next billion-dollar bet. I'm Shivani Muthana, and today we get up close with Girish Mathrubootham, who is one of the most successful tech founders out of India. He's, of course, the man who proved that world-class SaaS products can be built from India for the world, and he led Freshworks from a small office in Chennai to a historic NASDAQ listing, putting Indian SaaS on the global map. Today, Girish, of course, is channeling his experience into supporting the next generation of AI startups with the Together Fund. And we are also pleased to have with us his founding partner, Manav Garg, joining us today. Manav, of course, is the founder of Eka Software, a seasoned software industry veteran who brings operational expertise, technical insight, and of course, a strong vision for nurturing early stage AI founders. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me today.
Thank you for having us.
Girish, my first question to you, of course, with the recent development of you exiting as the executive chairman of Freshworks, tell me a little bit about how you made this decision to move away at this point in time, because also in one of your posts you mentioned that India has the right ambition and talent to become a truly product nation, and that's where you really want to channelize your energy.
Yeah, so I've announced that I'll be transitioning away from my post as executive chairman of Freshworks on December 1st. So it's coming up in a few months. And so I think I would say this is part of a well-planned transition strategy. So we hired the current CEO of Freshworks, Dennis Woodside, in September of 2022. And both of us operated as two in a box with the entire management team reporting to us. After spending 18 months in that format, last year in May, I stepped down from CEO and transitioned to Dennis as the CEO, and spent the last, I would say, year and a half in helping Dennis transition into the CEO role. So it's a part of the bigger transition plan. And also, one of the main reasons for that is we started Together Fund in 2021. So the Freshworks board always knows that I'm passionate about starting up from India. So that's what I wanted my next journey to be. And so it all worked out well.
Right. So, as you mentioned, Girish, it's been about 4 years since the Together Fund launched, and Manav, you've raised about 85 million in the first fund, 150 million in the second. So, what has the transition been like for you from being an operator to an investor?
So if you go back in journey, I first pioneered selling enterprise software large deals from India through Eka, right? And we looked at CFO office. And alongside, we co-founded SaaS Boomi in 2015. So by 2019, we had about 100 companies in our angel portfolio. We also started angel investment. We invested separately. Girish did about 60 investments. I did about 40 investments, or around about that number. So we were very used to understanding how founders think, and we obviously have a lot of understanding and experience built in how to build India for the world. How to bring companies from India and for the global markets. So when we were looking in 2019, we looked back all our experience with SaaS Wave and B2B really growing very fast globally. We thought it's good to bring together the operational expertise that we have garnered over 10, 15 years and bring in the capital together. That's how the fund was formed. So if you look at first 4 years, we have now 35 companies in the portfolio. We today are the largest seed AI fund from India, largest AI in the early stage capital. We start investing in AI in 2000 Jan of 23, and that's when most of the industry is still trying to understand how will AI play out. That's where we use our experience on understanding which markets, how to fundamentally think from what underlying transformation enterprises or small businesses will go through. So we went through all that fundamental discussion, and we took a conscious call to invest very, very selectively into AI startups from India and prove to the world that Indian companies or Indian founders can also go global in AI, as it did in SaaS, or what we call a B2B landscape.
Got it.
So that's where we are right on our journey, where we are the largest fund, 110 million or deployed in the early stage. Out of that, 200 million that we have raised.
So I will come back to delve deeper into the thesis. I just also want to touch upon, the operator-led investor sort of mantle that you have, Girish. In terms of the psychological and emotional journey, stepping away from the company you created, right? What was that like? And you've always said that you will be a product manager at heart. So how does that product lens influence how you evaluate startups?
See, for a founder to step away from the company that you have created is always emotional. There's no right time to do it. But if I look at the Freshworks journey, I'm super proud of what we have accomplished, the incredible team and culture that we created. And after taking the company public, I really wanted to try being a public company CEO, and I enjoyed that learning journey. But when the AI moment happened, that was actually very clear to me that, hey, while I enjoy the learning process of being a public company CEO, I'm a builder at heart, and what gives me more happiness is being able to work hands-on on creating. And AI is presenting a massive disruption opportunity to rebuild. And just like we saw in the previous monster waves, I call it, the browser being born or the smartphone being born, I think AI is going to create new leaders in every category. So it was too hard to resist that momentum. And one of the things that we're doing in Together Fund to actually play to our strengths is we have an incubation strategy where very few, like a handful of deals or even like 2 deals, we will incubate, where we play a more hands-on role, where we work like a co-founder. We are an investor, but we work with the team. We actually select the team, and I think I would say that will satisfy our need to be builders as well.
And Manav, if you can throw more light on the thesis of your investment in these AI startups, what would you define as AI native startups, and are you seeing them grow, of course, faster than the SaaS era startups today?
So let's look at some numbers in the AI wave. Like Girish said, it's a wave which is a monster wave, much bigger than what we have seen before. So what does it really mean? In the first 2.5 years of the wave. So ChatGPT came in November 22. We are almost in November 25. So let's take 3-year period, right? So point number one, the companies are scaling in revenue much faster. We have companies touching 100 million in 12 months in the US, right? Companies are starting with a smaller number of team members right now. Team from 3 to 5 people can actually create a very large companies, and there's a discussion that maybe there's a unicorn with a single person also going forward, right? So that's the second trend that we're seeing. Third is that trend we're seeing is that there are newer industries that are getting disrupted. The use cases which were never possible before with the software are getting addressed now, like legal tech is area which we never got penetrated before, or personal productivity is going to next scale. What we're seeing with ChatGPT, right? With human intelligence coming into the computer in a way, or any device that we interact with. So when these 3 points are coming together, therefore Indian startups will also have to follow the trend that we are seeing. So in our portfolio, Emergent is one, 10 million in 2 months, 15 in 3 months. Perhaps they will touch 100 in 12 months. We'll see how that plays out. Composite did the same thing in the integration space. So that shows us the Indian talent can actually build world-class product. So we look at this in few fundamental aspects. Number one, are we transforming or changing the existing industry, or is it a totally a new industry or a new habit that we're getting formed? So that's the first cut we that look at it. So in an existing industry, we can take some boring industries like logistics, CRM, CFO. So that is one set of thesis that across horizontal and vertical applications we have. Second is the habit forming things that we are doing. For example, now the second company we are incubating is in AI commerce. The reason that is our habit to shop is going to change, because right now our experience has been primarily search, browse, and then buy. Now that is gone to chat and buy, right? Because primary medium so far in AI is you go to ChatGPT or Anthropic and chat, and then some buying decision happens. So which means we will go to more agentic form of consumer behavior as well. We've also seen new talent is able to come in the market now. So previously in a SaaS wave, it is primarily, you have to be somewhat experienced to create a large B2B company. You either have a domain expertise, or you have a horizontal experience, vertical experience. You form a team with few engineers, and that's how look at the problem. But right now, we're seeing a lot many younger folks coming into the market who have a AI first way of thinking. Some of the top companies globally, like Cursor, they are born out of MIT, 21-year-old. Similarly, in our portfolio, a company called Metaform is also college dropout, 24-year-old market research in AI, has had no previous experience in building a B2B company or previous experience in market research either. Early success, I would say, we are seeing in that. So we also forming a view how to work with a new set of talent that's coming to market.
Definitely. I mean, it sounds like very exciting times. We've seen a lot of that happening, but challenging at the same time, would you say, Girish? Because, there's a huge debate about the breakneck speed that AI startups are growing at, right? We've heard of millions of dollars being raised, hitting these impressive revenue targets in a matter of months. So what's your take in this the experimental revenue run rate versus the actual ARR? Because do you believe fast ARR is a bit of a trap in a sense, considering that AI is an emerging technology?
I'll unpack that question into 2 parts. Number one is, not all AI native startups have the advantage of going through fast ARR. There are a few, especially with product-led growth motions in developer categories, examples being Cursor or Emergent or Lovable or Replit. These are the companies that are really growing fast, and there are a few others. But there are also equally solid companies with enterprise go-to-market motion, which have longer sales cycles, and they are bought after procurement teams go through the whole cycle. So they may have a bit slower growth, and that's not a bad thing. So on one hand, we are seeing one set of startups run away, and these startups are actually going after a large market and presenting a dynamically new way of doing things. So there is so much excitement that people are coming inbound and trying it, right? So that is why this fast ARR is going. So that's my first point, which is it's okay to be an AI native startup, even with slower growth. If you're going after enterprise clients, you can still build a profitable large business. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, coming to the experimentation part of it, and is the ARR a trap or not? See, I think, yes, it is true. And my hypothesis is we are living in a world where there is a huge AI experiment running in every enterprise.
Yeah.
So all enterprises globally have shifted some of their IT budgets to encouraging teams to actually try AI solution to solve their problems better, to improve automation. And I think that's a good thing. So, which means you are getting more trials, and that's what every startup wants. Today, when the world is running this big AI experiment, startups actually have a fantastic opportunity to go and get their solution in the door, right? Because people are looking for it. See, 1992, we used to listen to Roja song on an audio cassette, right? In 2003, we used to listen to it on an iPod. Today, we are listening to the same song. I'm listening to it on Spotify. So, as a consumer or a user, I hold on to the music. I value the music. I throw away my gadget and replace the gadget. So, AI is a gadget. So, startups that understand this well, and when I say music, I mean the customer problem, the core customer problem that needs to be solved, which the customer values. That is the music. So, any new startup who is solving the real customer problem, this experimentation era is a great thing, because at the end of the experiment will be a success and customers will be sticky. Now, it's called an experiment because some experiments will fail and that revenue will go away. But I think overall it's a good thing.
Also shifting focus, Girish, to where these AI startups are being built and the founders themselves, right? We're seeing this vast majority of founders, even Indian founders, shifting to the Bay Area, to the Valley, to actually build their foundational years. And we're also seeing a lot of VCs close deals faster with founders who are based in the Valley. So what is your observation on this front?
That's a great question. And for someone who's always wanted to build a company from India, I think at this point of time, even I would advise, or we are advising as a fund, that founders spend more time in the Valley, or one of the co-founders move to the Valley, because in AI, things are moving so fast that I joke that even Palo Alto is 2 days behind San Francisco, right? So I think the epicenter of action is in San Francisco. And every founder who has visited San Francisco and had all these meetings comes back with so much knowledge, because sitting in India, you will be very slow to react. So it's important that somebody from the team actually is understanding what's happening. Things are changing fast. Maybe maybe next year or 2 years from now, things will settle down and the building blocks would be cool, and you don't have to travel as much. But I think right now, it is important to have your eyes and ears in the Valley.
Got it. So what would you say in terms of the moat, right, for AI companies? What does it take to actually build the real moats beyond just having access to models and the data itself? What would it take for Indian founders and India as a country to develop its AI ecosystem better and deeper?
So when ChatGPT came, everybody thought moat is going to be network. If you're like Hugging Face, where a lot of people came, they uploaded their models and then you can download. Suddenly network effect comes, you are more sticky. Or it could be incumbent like Freshworks or Microsoft or Salesforce, who have a lot of data and customers, and they can use the data to train the models and therefore are ahead of the game. Or third is, there are companies who are able to generate data and learn, and therefore learnability is faster, so that becomes your moat. But fast forward 2 years down the line, there are new ways to do things. For example, Cursor's built on top of model company, but they stitch the entire developer experience, right? Which means you can develop really fast. The ID is really good. In the environment itself, you can say, okay, connect with Freshworks or Salesforce. It can connect with each other, connect to those systems. So the whole experience was built around context. Therefore, company really grew really, really fast. Whole experience management or experience also is a moat if user get habituated to your product. Second new mode coming is a distribution mode. PLG companies. PLG is nothing where product is the main hero and you can distribute to millions of users. Therefore, early distribution means also early branding. So you can build on that. That's the second mode, which is part of your question, which is talking about India as the ecosystem. I think India is, let's first accept India is behind in AI race. We are probably number 3 or 4. Obviously US, China, and after that maybe Europe and India is kind of almost at a similar stages that we are in. The way to look at Indian ecosystem is, can we grow faster than that we grew in a SaaS wave? In SaaS, just to give you context, India only has 1% market share of the global SaaS market. So it's not that we had like 20% market share. So in AI, if India can get to 10% market share, I think we'll be in a very good shape from India to the globe.
We have seen a flavor of this question every 10 years, right? Like, hey, when will India produce a Microsoft? When will India produce a Google? When will India produce an OpenAI, right? What we have to understand is, what is the journey to creating really successful global product brands, right? And where are we in that journey? So I'll use an analogy from football, for example. Every 4 years when the FIFA World Cup happens, we all ask, hey, when is India going to win the FIFA World Cup? But we have to understand, in order to qualify for playing in the FIFA World Cup, you have to finish in the top 5 in Asia. And where are we in Asia? We are not in the top 5, right? So we have to start on the journey of creating multiple successful product companies. And that's why we call it the dream of India as a product nation. We've had great success as an IT services nation. So now we are on the journey of India as a product nation. So if you look at SaaS, we have companies like Zoho or Freshworks or Chargebee, BrowserStack, a few more. But that's it, right? Like how many product companies of, let's say, 100 million plus revenue companies do we have? How many $1 billion plus companies are there in the US? So with AI, now it's a restart, right? Like AI is accelerating it. So now we have to create many more $100 million companies and $500 million companies and hopefully $1 billion companies. And then we can talk about that, when is India really going to create an OpenAI or a Google or a Microsoft, right? But that journey, we are still not as mature. Like, of course, to build a global brand, you have to master go to market, as you say. Like you have to sell. And unfortunately or fortunately, the largest markets are for software and technology. US is the dominant market with around 40 to 50% share. Europe is maybe another 35 to 40%, and the rest of the world is still. See, China has remained mostly inaccessible to most of the rest of the world selling tech. So I think that may not change, and so we have to rely on selling global.
Got it. And what is the progress that you're seeing, right? Because at Together, a fund as well, you're focused on AI. Manav mentioned that you've got about 39 portcos now. How many horizontal, vertical AI companies or dev tools, application layer companies are you seeing? What's your observation?
So I think from an India standpoint, we think our biggest strength is going to be in enterprise application space and on the dev tool side, because we have a lot of engineers and technologists who have experience in that. So we are seeing a lot of startups on that. And on the enterprise side, we have so many people like who are working in larger companies who have worked for global tech products. So they have the domain expertise, and domain expertise is really the moat for somebody building an AI native enterprise application automation workflow, right? Historically, horizontals used to be preferred as they are bigger markets than verticals. But now with AI, we are going to see more winners in verticals than even horizontals. The reason for that is we are going after the salary TAM. Like when you're automating the work that humans do, it's possible to build a much larger company by focusing on one vertical. So at Freshworks, we used to get excited about the market size. It's the market for customer service software was $37 billion. And if you look at the salary of all the call center workers in the US alone, is $350 billion. Now, whether we like it or not, AI is automating call center jobs, right? So like when customers call in with basic questions or, okay, I want to pay my credit card bill, or I have a question about the last transaction, or I want to do my pharmacy refill, all of this is being automated by AI, right? So which means that entire $350 billion of salary TAM, or total available market, is actually the new market size. And also with AI agentic technology where it is today, we are at a point where what we call as agent on guardrails. Like for example, an agent will be able to do specific tasks really well. That's the technology that's working really well now. Now, for example, if we take customer service, it's very hard for somebody to build one customer service agent who can handle customer service for credit cards and insurance companies and travel companies and e-commerce companies. But if you want to build a customer service agent only for credit card companies or only for e-commerce companies, that's much more easier to build, and the technology is available and it supports it. So that is the reason when you combine that agent on guardrails technology limitation along with, hey, now I'm going to build agentic solutions that go after the salary TAM. So then it is possible to build vertical solutions that really work well and solve the customer problem well and give them the level of automation that they need. So that is why the faster growth is also coming. because businesses are seeing tons of savings by automating this.
So, in this whole race to fund AI startups and be part of the game as well, how would you say Together Fund is differentiated from a traditional VC? Because you do say that you are a community focused AI fund.
I think one of the initiatives, if you look at the entire conversation today, we spoke about helping the founders. And therefore, for the early stage or first time founders, we will launch an initiative called Together Swamp Space, which is a part lab, part research, and part AI studio with funding just come together. Because what we believe to be successful in the AI era, you need an AI co-founder and AI research to augment your successes in the market. So Swamp Space is an initiative like that, which we launch across Bangalore, Chennai, and Palo Alto, where we bring in the founders, we give them immersive experience in India and in the US, and bring these three components together and work with them for 6 to 12 weeks and see how we can help them at a very, very early stage as like play a role of coach. We try to have an impact on the outcomes that can be catered through that. Therefore, number one, look at the market disruptors. What really forces that are changing the market. Number two, look at what best-in-class products look in that market. Number three, look at how the cap table will be created in terms of what kind of investors, Indian investors, US investors. And number four is how your early go-to-market customer acquisition costs are going to look like. These are the four things from a business orientation will look like. I think it is also demanding founders to change at much faster pace. That's another thing. Given the market changes so fast, your pace of learning has to be at least at par with AI. So you need much more speed, much more perseverance than we ever did actually in the past, given the pace of change. And we have good success stories, right? We have Emergent, which is a vibe coding platform. They've become 15 million in ARR in 3 months. We have Composio, which is an integration layer for LLMs, loved by developers around the world right now. Then we have companies like Metaforms, which is doing AI in market research. We have Rapid Claims and Spry in healthcare portfolio, US healthcare markets. So therefore, we have it now about, I would say, 8 to 10 companies are performing really well. 4 companies may cross actually $10 million by December. Early thesis and a love for working with the founders and mission of India as a product nation is beginning to take shape, I would say.
Right. So, what would you say are the initial or the first signals or metrics that you look for in an AI startup founder?
We are usually the first check, and we are pre-product, pre-revenue. Like, so there's nothing much to see. So we are looking at maybe an early founding team or a founder. So what we look for is, number one, a strong founder who's going after a hard problem. And we also look at what gives them the right to win in that, to solve that problem. Like, do they have the muscle memory of working in a domain where they truly understand the problem really well? Then we look at, do they have the ability to tell the story in a convincing way so that they can attract people who are smarter than them, or at least a high caliber team. So, and then we do our back end work on how big is the market. And whatever they show us, an initial prototype or a demo, the quality of craftsmanship, because to win in a global market, your product bar has to be really high. So do they have the craftsmanship to actually compete globally? So these are the early signals that we look at to get conviction that, hey, this is somebody that we can back.
Got that. And even when you look at the evolution of Freshworks, right, from a product standpoint, how did you sort of maneuver the whole change when we had the AI era upon us? We've seen some of your products, the Freddy AI Copilot, Freddy AI Agent. How do you think that's doing, and what's really next in an AI era for Freshworks?
See, I think one thing at Freshworks is we did not wait for the ChatGPT moment to start working on AI. So I think, in fact, from 2015, every year we would have an annual retreat where we ask this question, hey, what can kill Freshworks, right? And even as early as 2016, we got the answer that we are not afraid of any of our larger competitors because we are actually winning against them. So competition is not going to kill us, but AI is something that could kill customer service. So we could see AI come into play. And so we actually created a machine learning team and started working on AI/ML features. So in 2018, I spoke in Australia at our customer happiness tour, where I have the deck today, which is very satisfying to see that many of it is played through. Like, I had the 7-stage evolution of AI. And at that time, we had AI to automatically predict all the ticket fields, like how a human would feel. We were using basic machine learning at that time. We have sentiment detector. to identify whether a customer is angry or upset, or they have an intent to purchase, or intent for refund, and then route it based on the intent to the right team. So we had built all of that. So we were investing in AI in 2017, 2018. We just did not really optimize for monetization, usage-based monetization, which is the wave now. We were very happy with, because all business were still hiring, and we're happy with our agent-based licensing model. But ChatGPT moment gave us that all-in moment where we have to go. And one of my responsibilities, I was responsible for the AI strategy for Freshworks. So we built Freshworks AI strategy as around Freddy AI agent, Freddy Copilot, and Freddy Insights, where the AI agent is the agentic play where customers will questions will be answered by an AI agent. Freddy Copilot is for the humans to get help from AI on, especially people who have joined new, to get answers from AI. And Insights is for leaders and managers to get real-time insights.
So great to see how, Freshworks and you have come full circle now nurturing AI for startup. We've got TechSparks around the corner. Our theme this year is India 2030 powered by AI. What are you most excited about when it comes to AI and its impact on everyday life in terms of the future of AI? Where do you see it headed? And do you think India is doing enough to ride the AI bus?
I'm an enterprise software person all my life. And so my excitement is, I think we are now in Act 1 of AI, where all businesses are assuming that their current tools are perfect, their current processes are perfect, and they are using AI agentic solutions to automate human work. I think in Act 2 of AI, we will see fundamentally businesses questioning, hey, why am I still using all these tools that were built decades ago? Like, how should an AI native solution be, and how will my human employees and my digital AI co-workers work together, right? So that will create massive opportunity for newcomers, and that's something that I'm excited about. And I think, are we doing enough in India? I think we are seeing a groundswell of founders really coming up. I think the government has actually launched a fantastic program to grant. Of course, we can do a lot more, and we need more research in our universities. Let's be hopeful that we will all come together and do a lot more.
And great to see funds like yours also backing, this AI era in India. Thank you so much to the both of you for your time. Great insights and perspective. Thanks again.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having us. Thank you.